Brother Kachkwala coming back at you with another lesson, giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rachakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, the rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the 1144 First Street. As you see on my screen, today has been a day for the Dow Jones for the stock market. It says the S&P 500 is now an official bear market according to the S&P Dow Jones indices. So pretty much what happened today is the market pretty much dropped 900 points today in the Dow Jones, taking it down to 30,000. When the market was in a bull market, meaning when it was up, it was almost at 40,000, if not at 40,000. I have to check. Give me one moment, Babak Shah. All right, I'm back. So I had to get my phone real quick and look at the year to date. Yep, it was almost at 39. It was at 39,925 at one point. So damn near. Well, hold on one second. No, it was at 36. Let's look at a 2-year real quick. The highest has been is 37,035. So 37,035. I think is the highest that has been in a 2-year period. So with that being said, it's gone. It's right now the Dow Jones is sitting at 30,000. So it's went down 7,000 points since the start of this year. And today it went down about 900. It went down 876 points today, officially putting the market into a bear market. Now, what we experienced in 2020 is the Dow Jones going from like 30,000 all the way down to about 15,000. Okay, all the way down to about 15,000. Right. Yo. So like, yeah, I'm just going back in time just to see what the dealio is. So it dropped 15,000 points in 2020, so it's looking like it's about to do the same thing. Now, when I'm seeing this happen, I noticed that there's been bank closures since the end of 2021. And I wanted to do a lesson on this because in the area that I live, I usually go to this Wells Fargo bank that's just right up the street. One day it was open, and then when I had to go there, it was like 2 days later, it was absolutely cleared out. No sign on it, ATM gone, people not working there, lights shut off, just a vacant building. They cleared that thing out so quick, but pretty much what's happening is there's bank closures. So it says right here, it says more banks closing branches in Albany area. It says more Albany area banks are looking to trim their branch networks to close offices as the shift to digital banking accelerates. Right, so that digital meaning what? The CHIP is becoming more relevant day by day by day. Okay, let's go to this one because I mentioned Wells Fargo. It says Wells Fargo closing 2 more Richmond branches. Well, guess what? They're closing. Of course, we have to do this crap, but the title says enough. But they're closing branches in northern Georgia and other areas as well. So here's some more bank closures here. All right. So it says bank branches closures will surge again. It says the record number of branch closures in 2021 is far from the end of the branch consolidation. Not only are high costs in the crosshairs as banks and credit unions face economic headwinds, but digital banking, especially digital sales, continues to change the role and relevance of the in-person channel. Access capacity remains. Right, because when 2020 hit, they made this little scheme saying that there's a coin shortage. Also they made it not as accessible to go inside the banks to actually retrieve physical hand money, paper printed money. You can't really do that anymore, and they're closing the banks, so it's kind of making it It's forcing people to go into a digital type, just do banking online. What we're seeing is a reiteration of 2000, 2001. Because after 9/11 is when everything, of course, the World Wide Web came about in 2000 and 2001, 9/11. Around September timeframe is when there was a big shift going into the digital world of money. Okay, that's when everything kind of shifted around that era. 20 years later, it's another shift that's about to happen, but it's going to go into biometrics. So no more walking into a bank to, hey, I need $300 for my. No, it's not happening like that. One thing is because they set this quote unquote pandemic off to mitigate in-person contact and really put people into their place to where they're limited to go places and things of that nature. And next, real talk, is because the global economy is going broke, really. All right, the global economy is going broke. So let me get this First Maccabees real quick. This is First Maccabees chapter 3. I'll start at verse 25. It says, "Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren. An exceeding great dread fell to fall upon the nations round about them." So pretty much what we're reading here is Judas actually, I think it was a battle of Beth Horon where he beat Siron, and then his name got out there, and King Antioch, or Antiochus, however you want to pronounce it, he got upset. So therefore, we're about to read what he's about to do. So verse 26, it says, "And so much as his fame came unto the king, and all the nations talked of the battle to Judas. Now when the king Antiochus, or Antiochus, heard these things, he was full of indignation." So he was pissed off that a small group of Israelites was wreaking havoc to the Greek or the Seleucid Empire army. Because you got to remember, Antiochus, he was fighting in two different fronts and two different theaters. You could say that's the lingo or the terminology for war, where you have two different theaters. Go back to World War II. You had this Pacific theater, and then you had the European theater. The Pacific theater over there in Japan and stuff. And then you had the war over in France and Italy and Germany and things of that nature in the European theater. So he was fighting two fronts. He was fighting in the Jewish area, the Israel theater, and then also he was fighting the Punic War. Not the Punic War, Salakia. He was fighting the Syrian War, which was against the Ptolemaic Empire. So he was fighting in two different fronts. So when he heard that a small group of Israelites were wreaking havoc and beating the shit out of his forces, of course it's going to irritate him, because he's not considering them, and he's worried about a bigger opponent, you could say, and pretty much belittling the Israelites. Then come to know that maybe he should have paid more attention to the Israelites because they was ruining him. So it says, "Now when Antiochus," verse 27, "heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army." So he's like, fuck it, I'm sending everybody. All right. And in war, if you send everybody, what does that take? Money. It takes money. Okay. So we're going to hear what he did. So he says, he opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year. So he gave his soldiers pay for a year. So just imagine you work at a company, right? And they need you to work a little overtime, and they're so desperate for you to work overtime. Say you get paid $40,000 a year. They're going to pay you $40,000 on the dot right then and there. That's what Antiochus did right here to pretty much get the incentive out there and, get some fire in their butts to work harder to take these people down. Almost like a bounty or a collection, you could say. If you do this, you get this bonus. So it says, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Verse 29, "Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed. So the money of his treasures failed. Bank closure. What we're seeing it today, bank closure after bank closure after bank closure. Now that the S&P, the Dow is down 900 points in one day. The Dow has been going down 7,000 points since the start of this year. What Esau is seeing is his money is failing him at the moment. Okay? And then, of course, he's trying to fight wars on different fronts. Shit. He has to fight a social war here in America, let alone worrying about what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. It says in that the tributes in the country were small, right? Meaning in his country, the tributes are small, meaning people can't fucking pay taxes. And that's what we're seeing today. People are broke. Esau is auditing people who can't even barely pay their water bill. It's like, what do you want them to do? So pretty much tributaries is those who give money to the government, you know, pretty much who are under the rule of the government. It says, because of the dissension, right, in the plague which he had brought upon the land in taking away the laws which had been of old time. And this is exactly what Esau is doing today. That's why, again, we're seeing bank closures after bank closures after bank closures in the Dow Jones 900 points down. And again, to reiterate, the Dow Jones 7,000 points down since the beginning of this year. Okay? That's why, because Esau has taken the law, statutes away and commandments away, or tried to at least, from the Israelites. Therefore, a plague is coming against him for pretty much messing with the apple of the Lord's eye. Therefore, he has to pay the consequences for it. Therefore, we see his kingdom going down day by day. Every day is another haymaker to his fucking jaw. You know, we're seeing it. People are losing jobs. People are quitting, really. I did a lesson on that, the great resignation. You know, people are quitting. People don't want to do this no more. So we're seeing it. His money is failing him, you know. So we're seeing a great downfall right now, and we're seeing the economic collapse right before our eyes, and it's a beautiful thing. Just stay prepared, you know. When I say stay prepared in the spirit, make sure you build your faith in the Lord, because we're about to see some perilous times. We're already in perilous times. The word perilous means hard to do. So we are in times where it's hard to do things, hard to make money, hard to do this, that, and the third. Yeah, but guess what? If you have faith in the Lord, he'll take care of you. So Lord willing, this was edifying. I know it was a quick hit. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the 1144. It's Brother Kachwa. Until the next time, shalom. And like always, repent, for Yahushua is coming back sooner than what me and you believe. Shalom.